crafters, in tonight's video we're going to be making a sunshine card, and we're going to be using the Ray of Lights cling stamp set for the background paper. And then for the sentiment, we're going to be using the Good Feelings stamp set and the Beautiful Balloons photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to show you two ways on how to apply the Ray of Lights. Hi, I'm Joan and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Papercrafts found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. And here's the card we're going to be making. We're going to be using the Ray of Lights cling stamp set and the Good Feelings cling stamp set, using this sentiment and this sentiment in one of the cards. And in the second card, we're going to use the Beautiful Balloons photopolymer stamp set with the Happy Birthday sentiment. So we'll get started. First, we're going to cut a piece of Daffodil Delight. We're going to use a full sheet of cardstock, and I'm going to put it at the 4 1/4 mark. That 4 1/4 mark would be 10.8 centimeters, and we're going to score it there. That's going to give me 2 cards when I'm done here. And then we're going to turn it the short way, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2 inches, making a card base that's 5 1/2 inches wide by 8 1/2 inches long, or that'll be 4 centimeters by 21.6 centimeters. Then we'll fold and burnish this on that score mark, and I'll do it to both cards, giving us 2 card bases. And next we're going to take our basic white, and we're going to cut that at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And that would be 10.2 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. So we want to place it at 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to cut that, and that would be the 13.3 centimeters. And then we're going to turn it, and we're going to cut it at 4 inches, or 10.2 centimeters. And we'll just scoot this one over here and make that 4 inches again, or 10.2 centimeters, and cut. And then we have a little bit here. I hang on to these. They make good scraps for sentiments on other cards. Okay, I think we're done cutting for a while now. Well, actually, I'm going to take this piece here, and I'm just going to cut it right in half. So that's going to be 4 1/4 inches, 10.8 centimeters. We're just going to cut that with this right here. Now we're done with this. What we'll do next is, these are inside pieces, and we're going to stamp them using You're on My Mind and In My Heart, and I'm going to use the Tuxedo Black for the stamp, and I'm going to just put it this way and stamp it up. And that way I can see when I've got the whole stamp filled in. And I kind of missed here, so I'm just going to take this tissue and wipe off that little piece there. Otherwise it's probably going to get on my card when I stamp. There, that should be clean. And I'm just going to center it and put it at the top portion of the card and in the center. And I'm going to rub it just to make sure we get contact on the mind and the heart. They're a little bit broader than most cards. And that's done. And then we'll do the happy birthday taken from Beautiful Balloon Stamp Set. And that's just going to go center. Let me get a little more ink on there. Center and toward the top again. All right, and I'm just going to bring some paper in and clean that off. So we're done stamping these. And I get rid of the excess ink on the paper. And then I take our Stampin' Scrub, and I'm going to use our mister, because I haven't used this yet today, and just spray some mist on there. And just clean these really quickly. All right, we're done with those. So let's take the card base and let's glue those on the inside. And we're going to use our multi-purpose glue. And I've got it in this needle nose bottle here. So it makes it a lot easier to get just a fine tip of glue. And I'm going to use silicone mat here so that if I go off the mat, it's not going to get my surface all stuck up with glue. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to put that on the inside of this card. I'm going to center it, leaving 1/8 of an inch or 0.3 centimeters all around the sides. Then I'll burnish it to get rid of any glue bubbles. And I'm going to cover this up now so I don't continue to spread ink all over the place. Okay, and then let's do the second card. That's going to be our happy birthday. And then I'm just going to put that in here again, leaving 1/8 of an inch around for a border on all 4 sides. And then we will burnish it to get any glue bubbles out. So we got our card bases ready. Next we need to do is our card here. So that is a 4" by 5 1/4 inch piece, or 10.2 by 13.3 centimeters. And I'm going to take our basic white, and this is what was left of the card. So it's a little bit bigger than the card base here by 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch, but we'll trim that down to size. I'm going to show you 2 different ways on how to do this inside. What first we're going to do is use our Stamparatus. Now, you can't get this anymore, but I know some of you already have it, so that's why I'm going to show you how to use it. We've got the stamp in here, and it's positioned at the place where I want it to be on the card. I've got it lined up. What I should have done is put the paper down, put the stamp on top of it, and then picked it up. So it would have been in the right position. And then probably mark it for the second card if you're doing multiple cards. Take a pencil and mark the position here and down here. And then it should be good. In order to stamp this, you want to cover the whole piece with the ink. We're using Daffodil Delight. And we can always come back and do it again for pieces that aren't covered, right? And I'm using my palm here to rub this in place. or you can use like a whiteboard eraser. This actually works this way better. And there are some pieces there that aren't stamped properly, but there's still ink on here, so I'm just going to bring it right back and cover that spot there. Oh, a little more. Now that's why I like the Stamparatus, because if you miss a spot, you can cover it easily. If you're using just the stamp, you can't quite cover it quite so well. So I'm going to pull this magnet out because I've got a little bit up there that needs to be covered yet. And I'm going to put this right back where it was. There. And spot down here yet. There. There's one. And then we can cut this to size. And then we're going to take the stamp. So we'll clean it real quick. I'll just use this paper here. That got rid of some of the excess ink. We won't have to wash the chamois quite as often. This is the Simply Chamois. You just add water and wipe. And I'm just going to put this back up here. Okay, so this is clean now. I'm going to peel it off there, and I'm going to put it on our large stamp block right here. And then we've got this we're going to stamp, and I'm going to bring that paper back in here because I don't want to go off kilter there and get it on my workspace. So again, I'm just going to stamp this entire surface. I'm going to be more diligent about getting all of it covered because I only have one chance with this. And it looks like I got everything there. So I'm going to position this over this paper. And actually I'm going to do it this way. And just rub all the corners. And it's got ink on the ends again. So I'm going to use this paper towel too, so that I'm not re-rubbing the ink onto the cardstock any more than I have to. Okay, and then we lift it up. There we go. And again, we'll use our paper to blot the excess ink off. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Scrub. We used this before. I'm going to just do a little more ink because it's a bigger block. I keep saying ink. I'm going to use this mist. And that is a Stampin' product, and it works great on the stamps. Cleans them rather nicely, particularly with the scrubber here. And I don't see any more yellow. And I'm one person that always goes back and scrubs it one more time. And to tell whether we got it all clean or not, you can just take another piece of paper and try stamping on there. And there is nothing showing, so we've got it clean. Okay, I'm going to close this up before we get ink all over the place again. And then we're going to bring these back in, and we're going to stamp this with the sentiment from Good Feelings. So we're going to stamp it on the upper right-hand corner on both of those, basically over the sunshine. We're going to use the Tuxedo Black again for that. And I am just going over this.
And we got one done. I think I'm going to lower it a little bit. This one I'm going to lower it just a little bit. There. And let me bring in our paper again to stamp off. And we'll scrub. And closing up the ink again. And now these are bigger than what they need to be. So we want them to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I can see that there's a little bit of a rim on the top. So I am just going to trim that part off. I don't care what size it's at. But then I'm going to make the rest of it 4 1/4. Or 5 1/4, excuse me. Five 1/4 is 13.3 centimeters. And then we want it 4 inches wide. And 4 inches is 10.2 centimeters. We'll do the same thing with this one. And I'm just going to go this side. A little bit there. I can see a little bit of white there, so I'm going to just take 1/8 of an inch off, which is like 0.3 centimeters. And then we'll turn it over and we'll make it the 4 inches. And that's going to be the 10.2 centimeters. And then we'll do the same thing up here. We'll just take a little bit off at the top. And that was about 1/8 of an inch, or 0.3 centimeters. And then we're going to make this 5 1/4. So that we want to have to be 10.3 centimeters. So when we're all done, we're going to have a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4, or 10.2 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. And we got 2 pieces there. So that's why we're going to go on here with putting some glue. Let me get my silicone mat back. And we're going to just put glue on the back of this piece here. And we'll put it on this first card base. And I wasn't worried about that black because the card base is going to be covered with this. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just burnish it to get all the glue bubbles out. Make sure it's flat. Okay, we'll set that aside. Take the other card base. And this one, I'm going to use dimensionals to raise that up. So we've got our take your pick tool, and I have the little spatula on there, and I'm just going to pull out 9 dimensionals and put it on the back of here. Let's see. 1, 2. And I'm actually going to flip it over. Use the take your pick tool. Get it back up there where you can see it. Yeah, this is going to work easier with the take your pick tool. The spatula it kind of sticks to, and then it's hard to get it off of. Let's see, we need 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. So you got 9 dimensionals there. And we're going to take the backings off of those using the take your pick tool. And it hangs onto the backings really nice. And you can get them very easily. When it's full, you got to empty it. Okay. Now we want to put this on here. We'll center it again. leaving 1/8 for a border on all 4 sides. And the dimensional raises it up off of the card base. Gives it a little more fun. Looks like this, I think it looks a lot nicer that way. Then we've got our glossy dots here, and we're going to use the yellow here. And we'll use a take your pick tool. We'll use a big dot down here. And then we're going to use the 2 smaller ones up here. And I'm going to put them so they're like over the stripe in the white portion, so you can actually see them a little bit better than on the other one. And we'll put some on this card too. All right. Well, there we have our cards. I hope you liked this project as much as I did. You can use just about any sentiment stamp set on it. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can, and if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back Sunday, August 20th at 7 p.m. Central Time. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.